Welcome to the IDJ for You podcast. We were formerly the Dance Party podcast, but things have changed quite considerably. DJ Envy's become a mobile DJ to join the club. Because literally the world after COVID is not in the club environment; it's in a bar and a mobile environment where obviously a lot of the gigs are. So we still got Dance Party, we still does all the dance stuff and still does all the streaming and everything like that. But our DJ for You is encompassing of everything because we'll take gigs from the clubs through to mobile bars and obviously very specifically weddings. And Mr. the DJ Tutor, Jonathan Ellaskins, who's with us this evening. Good evening.
All right, guys.
Is a expert in all of the above. So we thought one of our first podcasts as the rebrand that would ask you on for your wealth of experience and the fact that you're a bit of a nutter, which we all know anyway.
Oh, God. Listen, in this day and age, in this world, anyone who says they're normal and sane are complete. Are you allowed to swear?
You can swear.
Are complete fucking nutcases.
Yeah. We're not monetized, so you can swear as much as you want.
Happy days.
I mean, the thing is with people today, everyone thinks they're normal, don't they? On a whole, thinks humanity is normal, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, the thing is, I wish your internet was normal because then we could hear and understand what you're saying.
Oh, bless him.
I'm not having a good day with technology. It's what it is.
Just don't speak for more than three seconds at a time, and you're good. Okay, right. So go on then.
No, go on, T.
All right. So the last couple of months, obviously, we've kind of changed direction in terms of where we had a podcast a while back, and I think it was. I don't know how the question came up, but basically I asked the question of which is more difficult, being a club DJ, stroke kind of bar DJ, rock up with your USBs and play, or a mobile DJ or a wedding DJ. And you can kind of class those together because a mobile would do weddings, but obviously weddings are even more specialist again. What's your considered opinion? Because I know Simon at the time was, has he gone? He's frozen. He's completely frozen now. Oh, he's back. He's back. Yeah. Where do you think it lies? Are they all levels of being difficult, and they all have their own? Where do you lie in it?
Yeah, that's sort of a tough one because I could say it from a broader perspective. Mobile DJing is far more harder than a club DJ because you turn up, you haven't got to set your kit up. You turn up, you do your night, you walk away.
Carry on. He'll come back.
Okay. But the club DJ could be far more difficult. All right. And I'll explain why. You go to a nightclub, you are working in that nightclub, say every Friday and Saturday night. Now, I've seen it, you've seen it. You get the same people turning up at the same time, ordering the same drinks, sitting at the same table, asking for the same tracks. So what you've got is you've got the same people night in and night out, and you've still got to entertain them and please them. Whereas a mobile DJ, it's a new venue, new crowd. It's always most of the time it's a new experience. So on that side of the scale, a club DJ, it's a far more difficult job than a mobile DJ. But then they've all got their hard parts and their easy parts. So it's really a tough one. You know, club DJs would say, yeah, we've got a hard life, mobile is easy, and vice versa. But because I've worked in both sort of parts of the industry, they're both difficult, but and easy in different ways.
Do you have a preference? What you wishing to do at any one given time?
Mobile. And again, you know, it depends on what sort of club. Like if it's it's a poppy commercial club, forget that, because I don't really want to go down the road of poppy commercial anymore, because I'll be honest with you, the top 40 days fucking shit. It's just crap.
Seen some of your videos on that, yeah.
Yeah, there's no soul to anything anymore. Everyone's using auto key changer. You know, rappers can't rap. They talk about diamonds and drugs and all that, when really they probably go home to mum, get a clap around the ear and say, you better be in bed by 11 o'clock tomorrow, otherwise, you know, you won't get your pocket money. I mean, you know, that the clubs really forget it, for me now anyway. But I do enjoy mobile gigs, especially if it's a new venue, because it's a whole new experience, you know, setting up the kit. And what people don't understand is, as a mobile DJ, you are the manager, the roadie, you're the sound engineer, the lighting engineer, you're the music producer. You've got to set the kit up correctly. You've got to make sure it looks good, it sounds good. You've got to make sure it's secure, safe. So there's a lot of responsibility there. And I buzz off that. I love it.
I suppose. Go on.
T.
No, go on. Let's make up your internet keeps up.
Yeah. I done a gig the other week, and it was a rock night. You know, like all the old Bon Jovis, all that sort of stuff. And when I get to the venue, T thinks this is stupid and thinks I'm an idiot for doing this, but I don't unload the car. I go in, I see the client if they're there, or the bar manager, whatever the case is, and I go and view the room that I'm going to be DJing in, just to have a quick look, see what the layout is and that. And this particular gig was just a bit of a nightmare. So I've got a big gorilla booth. I was running TV, 2 speakers, and 3 lights I was supposed to run, and they put me under the stairs. It was so tight. It's like you've got the stairs there, and then you've got the bit comes underneath.
And you're down like this, I suppose.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And the client themselves were understanding, but the venue are like, no, you have to be up there. I'm like, but I want to be down there because there's more space. It makes more sense. Nope, you've got to be up there. They wouldn't have it.
Right.
So from my point, from what I've done, I'd rather be in a club all day long.
Okay.
It's easier. For me, I sit here, I've done clubs on and off pretty much all my life. So, you know, you prepare your music, you go there, you plug in, you got no kit, you got no responsibility. You just rock up, headphones and USB, and off you go and do your thing.
Well, I would say it's somewhere in between, because most of the gigs, except for we won a night down in Essex, and even that's a bit of a compromise. It's a commercial house and garage, so it's not exactly sort of. And I'm sure, Jonathan, you'd love to play a really underground set, the music that you love. You know what I mean? And I'm sure you'd jump at a chance in a club like that, but most clubs not like that. Let's be honest. Yeah, they want the commercial stuff. Right. So we're everything, even in the club environment, is still kind of a compromise. And what I've found is that even if the night's not going particularly well, because you've kind of set out a genre and the expectation is, you know, you're going to play this particular kind of genre, with a mobile setup, so you can jump, like Envy just said, you can jump from rock, you can jump to soul, jump to Motown, and all of a sudden you can change the night on a pin. And it's so much easier to do that. The music program is easier to do because you've got near enough every genre, reggae, UB40, whatever you wanted, you'll find something in the room that will resonate with somebody. And like you said in your last couple of videos, even if it's just a handful of people in the room, you just need to get the one person, the person that's going to lead the other people to the dance floor. And all of a sudden, the room's a completely different atmosphere. So I like that, but I must admit, deep down inside, I love to play the music that I play, and I still haven't quite found a gig that I can we had a gig in Leicester, didn't work. We played the music we wanted and no one turned up. So everything else is a compromise.
We've all done that. We've all been there.
I mean, you say about like changing the vibe in the room. The rock gig was a perfect example. So they wanted rock all night, but within their playlist, they had a couple of Beyonce tracks and a little bit of house in there. And I played one of them, and he just grabbed everyone, all the younger people on the dance floor. They loved it. Yeah. So I played a couple more tracks, and it was going really well. Even the older people all on the dance floor, they was all dancing. And then the birthday girl comes up and says, "Oh, can you change it back to rock?" And you know, I didn't say it, and you shouldn't say it. You should never say it. But in the back of my head, I'm thinking, please be quiet. Let me do my job, because it's working. But she's paying my wages, so you do as you're supposed to do. And I went back to rock, and the dance floor died off. You know, and that's the frustrating side of it that I've found so far, is when you've got something that works and then whoever's in charge, the birthday girl, the bride, whatever, can go, oh, can you play this now? It literally just kills the vibe.
Do you know what? It's very true. And also it puts the DJ, you, in a really, not only an awkward position, but potentially less bookings in the future position from that crowd. Because at the end of the day, logic should tell you, if you've got a dance floor full of people and everyone's enjoying themselves, by the end of the night, you're going to have a few people come over to you. Oh, I love what you did. Shake your hand. Can I have your card? Whereas you're in this awkward position of not being able to play what the crowd want, even though you know they want that sort of music. And most of the crowd then will possibly leave thinking, oh, fucking hell, the DJ played a few good tunes and then he carried on back to that rock and no one was dancing.
Yeah.
So that's it. So even though you know what the crowd wants, you can't play it because you're pleasing the one person who's paid you the money. And by definition, really, you know, it's like a manager who, you know, you go and work for him. You can't tell him, sod off, I'm going to work my way. You have to do it their way. So it is an awkward situation.
You are right in terms of the and I'll say it on the podcast that I was supposed to do Simon's wedding, but I was booked up for my sister's wedding quite some time ago, and he had a band on all night, pretty much a band on that him and his handful of mates loved. Yeah, my brother-in-law, and perfectly fine. His wedding, celebrates it how he wants to. Then they had a dance competition, which kind of I then led. But then you can see people itching to get on the dance floor. They kind of put 2 foot and go, no, if you're not on the dance competition, you can't come on the dance floor. Then I had an hour left at the end of the evening to try and play. Typically, you'd work through a set, wouldn't you? You could say you go on the oldies, and then you'd put some maybe a bit more modern on, and obviously then your cheesy stuff when people are drunk, and then you know all that kind of stuff. That's kind of is a kind of a format that, because we're British, we know what we like as Brits. It probably wouldn't work in America as it would, like Brian S. Red would have a different market than obviously than we would do. You know, we put different we put cha-cha, slide on, gang and am, whatever. He put on different, obviously some more line dancing. But I tell you, I had to think, say, I can't play that, can't do this, can't do that, can't do the other. I had 1 hour to please the rest of the room, but he was happy. My sister was like kind of non-plus. For 3/4 of the night, just a handful of people were happy. And from our point of view, it's like, well, if everyone else in the room is going to be happy, wouldn't that make the bride and groom happy? But not everyone thinks that, do they?
You're right. It's an awkward one, but through my experience, and again, there's a lot of psychology here. All right, a lot of psychology, and you two will get it because you've been in the industry a long time. But what I've always tried to say to people, it doesn't matter what the groom says, what the bride's mother, the bride's father, every single other person in that room says. What the bride says goes, all right? And there's logic behind this, because even if you think about it, every single person in that room is there because they've been invited to that wedding by 2 people. And the one at the top it's always the bride. I've never been to a wedding.
Where's the trousers?
Where the groom. It's always the bride. So if you think about it, there's reverse psychology here. And you will understand this. If every other DJ who watches this understands it, you'll get it. So you go, you do the night, and all the crowd, like, fucking DJ didn't play our music. Oh, crap, didn't play our music. But the bride's happy. Do you know what? When they go up to the bride, or the bride goes, did you have a nice night? Oh, it was fucking amazing. Loved it. It was fantastic. The crowd aren't going to go to the bride and go, oh, it's fucking shit. It was crap.
No, they don't.
It's just not going to happen. Because the bride's got the aura of, oh, wasn't it amazing? Oh, fans smiling. They're not going to, then they're just not going to go to the bride and go, oh, it was shit. It was crap. The DJ was rubbish. Because the bride enjoyed themselves and they're always going to go along with the bride. And the reverse happens. If you piss the bride off, you might as well pack in and go and take up needlework.
Yeah, I mean, I done a wedding and I took it on 1 day's notice. No playlist. No, basically, can you do this job? Yeah, next. And I rock up there. And it was a weird wedding because I got there, I set up, I had about half hour to spare, and then 2:30, the bride walks in, but she's not meant to be there till 3:00. So I've got no music on because I'm not ready to go. So bride walks in, I'm a bit like, oh crap, like what'd you do? Because I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
And then some other people come in. So I've put some music on. Other people come in. Then the groom come in about half an hour after the bride, which was weird. I didn't understand that. And I just found that whole wedding really odd because I wasn't supposed to do the first dance, and then 5 minutes before the first dance, the bride comes over to me and go, "Are you ready to do the first dance?" I'm no. Like, what do you want to say? I'm not, because I was told I weren't doing it. So I've had to search for music and bits and pieces because I didn't have it. And so for me, I just think doing weddings is probably the hardest part about any type of DJing. When you turn up, even if it's last minute, where the bride is asking you these questions and you don't have the answers. And I think it's hard to win them back after that, because you don't look professional.
It is, but again, the thing is with a wedding, and again, it's not so much experience, it's just pure logic. If someone books me for a wedding, I am asking him 101 questions. Name of the bride's father, name of the bride's mother. What's your pet's name? Have you got any brothers or sisters? And also a biggie, always good to ask, has anyone died? Because one of the worst things in the world, you can say, "Oh, thank you to the bride's mother," and look, unbeknown to you, it was the stepmother and she's fucking dead. You know what I mean? So you ask all these questions, 2 weeks before. But again, I get it, because this was last minute for you.
The amount of information that I got for that particular job was zero.
Yeah. So in that, if I was say that happened to me and I was in your position, I would just be like completely honest and say, "Look, I do apologize, madam and sir, but this is last minute for me. So I'm still a professional. I'll do a bloody good job, but I've only just been given this information. So you're going to have to work with me."
You have to make some allowances, don't you?
Yeah. They were cool because they knew I took it last minute. They knew that. But at the end of the night, I spoke to you, didn't I, on the drive home? And the bride and groom were over the moon. The videos and the photos I got from it were brilliant. They were absolutely ecstatic with the night. Everyone was happy.
In that case, then, really, by definition, you've done over and above. And if anything, you've proven beyond shadow of a doubt that you're a fucking good entertainer. Because if you've had that at short notice and the bride and groom walk away happy, you've not only pleased them, but you pleased the rest of the family. And happy days, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I learned a lot from that one gig. That was my first ever mobile gig. First ever mobile gig I'd done, and I took it literally less than 24 hours notice.
So you went right in the deep end then.
But the thing is that
I learned a lot. I learned an absolute shitload from them few hours. I learned so much.
Yeah. Then I asked the question: you think mobile DJing is easier than club stuff? And he went, "I think I've changed my mind a bit." Yeah.
I've got to tell you, if I can, I've got a story for you now, and this is an actual ongoing story, and this is something that I'm not going to. I don't mind sharing with you guys. All right. This is why I'm not saying anything on social media at the moment. So the story is, I've known the groom, the future groom, known him for years, sort of know the future bride a little bit. But there's a local place up the road. It's called the Moody Cow. And this is going to be their first wedding this Saturday. Okay. Now, ironically enough, last Saturday, I was at the same venue for 50 people. I was actually less than 50 people. And this is the one I think I made a video about, not many people. You've still got to make sure they enjoy themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a really big room. If you imagine a like a massive farm building, but they've decked it out with wood and they've got a bar in there, so it looks really tidy. So I turn up with two twin 12-inch subs, a K each. I've got a couple of EV tops, really powerful tops. So it's like 4K there. And I'm, what I like to do is I like to turn the bass up all the way, all right, 90%. And I have my mid and tops at 0 dB. So basically, if you imagine, do you remember Dawn Penn, No, 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 that track? You don't love me, no, no, right. I know when I play that, you can walk up to the DJ booth and you can have a conversation with someone, but the fucking bass is rattling you, okay?
So that's your reference song, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I put that on, bah, 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 and everyone's going fluffy, but then they don't realize when it goes do do do, then you get that lower sub, and then they go fucking hell, it's very loud. So okay, so I start playing and I realize there's too much bass, so I turn the bass down to, like, I don't know, probably say 7 o'clock. Okay, so the night starts off all right. It's not that loud because there aren't that many people. I do a little bit of a warm up, then the band's on, I do a bit in the middle, and then the manager comes over. She says, you're gonna have to turn the bass down, it's too loud. And I'm like, shit, it's like not even half, So I turn it down a bit more, and then I finish my bit, band go on, and then I can see her going to the band. They had to turn it down. Then I carry on for the rest of the night. She comes up to me another twice, tells me to turn it down. All right. Now, that's the basis of this story, because the wedding this coming weekend, there are 3 DJs. There's myself, who's got the kit, and they want me to do the beginning of the night, which is sort of cheesy, but like mummy daddy kind of ABBA, Michael Jackson, typical wedding music. Mm-hmm. The next DJ is hard house, and they're finishing off with the drum and bass DJ.
Even better.
So I'm just thinking, what the fuck is going to happen?
So you'll have drum but no bass.
Yeah, it'll be a drum night.
Hi-hats and toms, and no bass.
I mean, it'll be a hard house DJ going.
I mean, that sounds like an interesting wedding to be at, to be fair.
Listen, I'm going to video this fucking shit. I'll tell you what, I am going to do some big gig logs of this. Because the icing on the cake here, right, is you've got a bridezilla here, all right? She's a lovely lady, all right? But this lady's not going to take any shit. Mm. And now here's the deal, and this is where a lot of people would think, management's going to tell them to turn it down. That's it. They'll have to turn it down. That's fair enough. But this is the first wedding they've ever had in this venue. All right. And these people, all right, have booked this. When I went to do a recce of the place, I was there. The manager was there, bride and groom, and the bride and groom go, yeah, we're having 3 DJs, Jonathan, we're having a hard house DJ and a drum and bass DJ. And the manager was, yeah, that's fine. Okay, no problem. So she's agreed. Mm. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm assuming the manager don't have much of an idea of what drum and bass and hard house is by the sound of it.
No, she does. This isn't someone who's ignorant. I think that she's gone, let's just get the booking in and the money in.
Yeah. Mm.
You know what I mean? Because once you booked in, you're booked in, aren't you?
Is this a fairly new venue to doing these kind of events? Because my question is that, one, are they limited to sound, as in they've got a sound limit because obviously the local council told them to keep it quiet, or they're not wishing to, excuse my friends, we swear on this one, piss off the neighbours in the local vicinity, or is it because it's too loud for them, personally too loud for them? Because the whole point in having music is to play it loud, but obviously not stupidly loud, but loud enough to entertain.
Yeah. I think it's the middle one. They just don't want to piss off the neighbours. But you see that the trouble is with the way social media works. If you imagine if it's their first wedding, they want to give a good impression.
Gosh, I know.
And if the bride and groom leave going, fucking hell, we couldn't turn the music up, they're just going to say, don't bother going there because you can't. you can hear a fucking pin drop.
Although Mr. DJ Tutor always has a solution. Get the headphones out. Silent disco time.
Silent disco, I know.
Yeah, that's. I don't think I could. Like we saying, like mobile DJing for me is harder than doing any club because of all these things that we've mentioned. Makes it difficult. Like the first things you were saying, you're a sound engineer, you're a lighting engineer, you're the DJ, the producer, you're a safety rep. You're absolutely everything,
everything.
And that makes it hard in itself because one thing I've noticed is drunk people.
They're lovely, aren't they? They're lovely people.
And every DJ, if you're a mobile DJ, a club DJ, a bar DJ, what DJing you do, there's all muppet, leans over your booth. They've got a glass full of wine, and they're like, and they're going like that, and they're waving, and you're just like, you're about to have a mental breakdown. Because you're like, I've got like $3,000 worth of kit sitting here, and you're gonna spill fucking drink over it.
Yeah, I don't take any shit now from people. I mean, if ever that happens, I don't think twice. I am grabbing their arm, I walk around, and I manhandle them away. I don't care if the bride's right in front. I don't even give a shit if it's the first dance. I will literally do that.
You got to, because it's expensive.
Well, two or 3 weeks ago, as God is my witness, right? It was a wedding, really nice hotel, Falcondale Hotel, near a place called Lampeter. Probably like half an hour from where I live. And I'm only sort of an hour into the night, and this bloke sort of wobbles over to me and holding a pint. He goes, something like, "Oh, you're shit, you are. Let me have a go on your decks." I'm like, "No, you're all right, thank you, sir. No, go on, let me have a mix." And I'm thinking, listen, mate, even if you were sober, the answer still would be no, And he's, "Oh, go on," like that. And I say, "Look, I'm just busy." He goes off, and then he comes back. All right, comes back. "Oh, let me have a go." And this is the only time I've ever done this. I put the volume down. Right, I was like this. Fuck off. I swear to God, I swear to you, right? I just like, look, fuck off. The volume down. And I saw, what social media's like now, a whole bunch of people with their phones now. And I said, listen, doing a job here, get lost, sling your hook, like that. And he went away. He did come back later on and he did apologize. "Oh, sorry about that."
Okay.
But I said, listen, mate, I'm trying to do a job here. All right. You've done your job. You're here to enjoy yourself, to get pissed. I'm here, stone cold sober, trying to do a job. Let me carry on. "Oh, all right." And that was it.
I had a very similar situation a couple of weeks ago. It was actually a club. Walked in, setting up in the booth. So yeah, walks in there, and I see this handful of people sitting outside. Obviously, a few drinks to the window already. Walks in, sets up. And because it's doing cheese, I'm not going to set my CDJs up. I'll just do it on the laptop. Yeah, this is the second time I've been there. Didn't use the CDJs first time around, so I thought no problem. But I got a load of cables and stuff, so I'm walking in with it all in there. So look like the part. Sets up. Guy comes up straight away. But the place is open, but obviously they got background music going on. Comes up and he says, "Are you the DJ?" I'm in the booth. I'm setting up. So
You see, I'd have gone like, no, I'm the cleaner, mate.
Yeah, well, that's what's going on in the back of my head. Was like, no, Sherlock. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, yes, I am. Obviously, you be polite. Yes, I am, mate. He says, "I'm a DJ. Can I play the first track?" Straight away, I'm going like, you're not a DJ, because no DJ would give that inconsiderate. You give the courtesy to another DJ. You don't step on other people's. You don't pee on their party. You know what I mean? You just don't. Yeah. So I'm thinking probably a bedroom DJ. I'll probably give him that kind of. And I don't, no disrespect to any bedroom DJ at all, but it's a professional DJ would not go in and say, "Can I play your first track and set your first track up?" It's a courtesy to the DJ. You don't do it. Yeah. Only when you're invited to do it. Yeah, that you do it. Yeah. So I said, sorry, mate. No, I'm setting up. I'm just on my laptop tonight. And he went, oh, okay. And off he walks. Yeah. Comes back an hour or so later. Obviously, 4 sheets to the wind now. And he comes in and there's a little ledge in front of the booth, which is not great because, again, we talk about where you're putting your drinks. People put drinks on there. They didn't on this occasion. And he starts whacking. He's loving the tunes I'm playing, all the cheese, having a great time, but he starts whacking it. My head's down, looking at the next track. I jump up and go, what the F's going on here? Yeah. It was a loud sound system, and I've got headphones on and I've got in-ear protection as well. And it shits me. It shits me. What the hell's going on here? And I realized, he's tapping away. After about the 5th time he did it, I'm looking to his mates going, no. Tell him no. I couldn't catch his eye, and then I caught his eye because at that point we've been like, look, security, you're gonna have to get involved here because I'm trying to concentrate doing my job. He's having a great time, and I feel a certain naughty person to get him rid of the club or get him moved behind, but I've got to do my job, and he's putting me off. So luckily he caught my eye, and I went, no, mate, no, and he could hear it. You can see me mouth, and the body language is like, don't start, yeah. Don't start. And he was like, well, I wasn't like you. I'm only a short guy. I mean, you're a bit taller than me, Jonathan, so I can't manhandle people out of the room or out the way. But it was like, yeah, I felt like it. Get the bouncers to do their job.
You're saying about manhandling people, though. Like, I take my wife to, because I don't put up with any crap at all. Comes to getting requests, all the wife deals with it. Because I cannot talking to drunk people. She was off in the toilet and I had to speak to someone and he was so with me face. And when you just think, it's just not nice.
Your internet's really bad again.
Did you get any of that?
We got the gist of it. Absolutely got the gist of it. We got the right parts of it.
Got the right part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think again with going back to this, which one's more difficult, club or mobile? Both of them, all right, we are dealing with the general public, all right, whether it be mobile or club. Because if you're a club DJ, you're gonna, all right, depending on really what club you're in. If you're a lucky fucker, you're in Ibiza and you're playing in a house club, you can pretty much walk in and no one but the person feeding you drinks is going to talk to you. But if you're in a commercial fun bar or a clubby sort of venue where it's, people come in, get hammered for 4 hours and go home, you're going to be inundated with the girlies, the boysies, requests, piss heads, hen nights. And in a way, you've got to be good at talking to people. You have to be really good at communicating. And one lesson I've learned, okay, when you get someone who's drunk, and they're like having a go at you, all right? And it was, I can't really relate back to the guy who was talking to me, who I basically told to F off, because he was sort of the other side of the DJ booth, and it was very difficult. But when you get people coming to the side of you and they're just giving you this, the best thing to do, all right, is completely change the subject. Just what football team are you into? And what you find is their mind then, because they're pissed, they completely forget about what they're on about, and they go, oh, I don't like football. Oh, do you like racing then? Hamilton? And you just start talking something completely random, and before you know it, they're your best mate. You're friends with them. They're friends with you, and you go, and then what I tend to do is go, oh, give me a minute, mate. I'm just going to go over here. So what you've done psychologically is you've reassured them and you've calmed them down. They're no longer talking about, they want some track that, if you play it, it's going to ruin the floor. And B, they're now thinking and talking about something else. But this is the cherry on the top here. This is the icing, all right? Once you've told them, oh, give me a minute, mate, I just need to find this track. And what you do, you just ignore them then, and they'll go away. They leave because they're like, you've confused them, all right? It works every single time. You've completely got them to forget about what they were on about. They're then thinking about something else. And because you're ignoring them, they're like, and they go away. And for me, it happens every single time. They just walk away. But what you've got to do is not even look at them, not even face them. You know, because you know some people, you sort of stare, but you don't give eye contact. That's wrong. You don't. You physically have to do it at 180 degrees. Your back's to them, and that's it. Then, and they'll well. Every time it's worked for me, they just walk away. But that's just a bit of a tip.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't. For me, that I wouldn't be that lucky.
No,
I'd get the one. I'd get a chair and then plot himself up next to the booth.
I'm camping out. I must admit though that unless you've got a decent playlist, if you've got like a wedding or a party in advance, obviously we all do the professional thing and get a playlist and a no playlist and that kind of stuff. That if you're in a bar situation or a mobile gig that basically hasn't given you that kind of info, they said, "Oh, just play whatever." Then obviously the requests are key for the night, because then you tune in. You know, you really dial it in. So obviously, well, if you play that and then it goes down well, so well, you might like this, and this, and then you tune into the crowd so much better. So I encourage them, but just not from the drunks. it's just the little bit of, because we're all little groups of influencers. Forget about the social media side of it, but one person will influence another. If it's a girl's party or it's a hen night, obviously it's the hen. You know, they'll come up and say she loves this, she loves Taylor Swift, whatever. You know what I mean? And it goes down brilliantly. Or because we play some Five, we're going back to cheesy stuff, and you go, right, okay, if you like that, you're gonna like this. I like that kind of stuff. Yeah, and you think like it makes you look so much better. They go, oh, it made me look good tonight because I was playing what they wanted rather than kind of what they wanted. But yeah, obviously, sort of. I had one in the same club. She was so posh, I couldn't understand her. Totally posh. I was like, that word I've never heard before. I'm 50 years of age and I've never heard that or it be said that way. Yeah, and I've had to ask the people to spell it out for me. Can you spell it for me? Yeah.
I go down a different route, T. I take a pen and pad with me, because when you're dealing with drunk people, 9 out of 10 times you can't understand what they're saying anyway. Music's too loud, and they're absolutely slurring and dribbling and all sorts of disgusting stuff. And a pad, and I just get them to write it down for me. And if I can't read it, it don't get played.
Yeah.
That because you're leaving, from my point of view, I'm leaving responsibility with the person to get it right for me for me to be able to play it. Because you might get, I've done a couple of gigs and it's just been request after request, and I had a list of 20 plus tracks. And what I found was if you ain't played their track within 10 minutes, they're back at the booth. Oh, when are you going to play my track? And me and T had this conversation the other day. It's like, if you play everyone's track from they wanted, your music's going to be up and down. There's no consistency. There's no pattern to it at all.
Yeah.
Someone will come and go, oh, can you, and ask you for drum and bass track? It's like you can't put them together. It doesn't work. And a lot of people who don't DJ, they don't understand that. They don't understand how music works and how it's put together.
Yeah,
they just don't. They don't get it.
You get the odd one that basically somebody says something to you, and you go, that would be brilliant to play next right now. I need to find that and drop it right now. Other times it's like, no, it's going to be 4 or 5 tracks times. And other times it's like, it probably ain't going to get played at all. Yeah. But yeah, I had one. What was it? Some lass came up to me on the weekend. I can't remember what it was, what the track was. And I was like, instantly, I had 30 seconds left of the track that was playing. I went, can I do this in time? Because it's the absolute right track to play next. And it was. And I just about did it. And then you go, little win for me. Yeah, you take those little wins.
That's good. I mean, a tip I've learned is if you get someone to write something down, like you said, you can't understand what they've said. It sounds a long way around what you want to do, but it works. You get them to find the track they want on their phone.
Yeah,
take a picture of it.
Yeah,
that's what I do. I literally take a picture of their phone of the track, and then all right, I've got to scoot through these pictures, but at least you've got it written down in the correct spelling, because I'm dyslexic. I can't fucking spell to save me wife.
Yeah, no, I struggle. But my wife isn't. So when there's a track that needs to be found, I'm like, I don't know how to spell that.
Yeah, I have.
I'm not on the laptop, and she's like that. She's typing away.
I have just have fat fingers. Hit the wrong.
So
That's the question we're going to ask you, Jonathan. Was you still do video, and how do you do video? Because I remember at one point I saw some videos. You used to have like a scrim and a backward projector. You had kind of a low down. How do you do it now?
Well, I mean, ironically enough, there's the sorry, wrong camera now. Isn't it? Oh dear. There, I've got the DJM 400 set up there.
Yeah.
And what I do, I have got the XZ as well, but for some reason, the software I use doesn't recognize the crossfade for video. So it will crossfade the audio, but not the video. So you've actually got to manually move it with a mouse on the software. So I just reverted back to the 400. So I did, do you remember, did you see the clip on Facebook, the silent disco?
I have seen it, yes.
That's it, I did the video there. So basically what happens, I've got the normal setup, laptop plugged in, bus powered, USB into the controller. I've then got from the output of the laptop, HDMI into a projector. And then that basically projects the video. So I've got the laptop screen set to another screen, which the second screen then is the video.
Mm-hmm. And you put onto a projector, do you? A screen, yeah.
So
that's it.
I do it slightly different. So standard from the laptop into a TV is how I do it. So I've got a 32-inch. And that's how I do it, and I use Virtual DJ for that.
Yeah, same. I use Virtual DJ as well, and it works fine.
Talk about tunes, yeah, and you're doing video. I know you've promoted in the past where you get your videos from, but Envy was looking for some videos. Where do you get your? Because I know you play a lot of the audio, but not the video off it, don't you, as well?
Yeah, well, it's a company called WeMix.
Right.
WeMix.eu.
Is that WE or WEE?
WE and then just MIX.
Right, okay.
And do you know a guy called Loved Up? You know the DJ Loved Up?
No, don't ring a bell.
I'll send you details through Facebook, but the guy called Mark, and he I'm trying to think, he brought out a couple of tunes in the 90s. But he was with one company that was, I think it's based in Canada, for a while, and then they parted company, and then he just started up his own sort of website, WeMix.eu. They their back catalogue is just insane, to be quite honest. But what happened is, and again, how my video sort of DJing started is, I still work a little bit with Pioneer, but back in the day, if we go back sort of 12 years, I remember there was a knock at the door, right? And I'm not joking, all right? I had brand new, in a box, SVM 1000, 2 DVJ 1000s, and a CDJ 1000 Mark III. In a box from Pioneer, thank you very much.
And the ones that play the video were not cheap. They were the dearest of the lot, weren't they?
Yeah, Matt. So what happened, right, is that the SVM 1000 at one point was 2K, and the players were it was 3K, and the players were, I think, £1,800 each. And then there was a point where the mixer went up to 6,000 fucking pounds. All right,
mad.
And I had. The music was on DVD, all right? So for a long time, I was doing video mixing, right? Out weddings and all sorts with DVDs. Now, the trouble is, they weren't as easy as CDs, because you put a CD in, it's reading audio. You put a DVD in, it's got to read audio and the video. So what I found is that every single gig you did, normally you load a track up and you've got, you've got normally a window of, say, a minute where you can just sit back and relax, because most tracks are 3.5 minutes, all right, radio versions. So if you think about it, by definition, you start it and you maybe start it 2 bars in or 4 bars in at some sort of drop. So you start it, that's playing, which gives you a little bit of time to get the next one, or you choose it, or you're digging through a crate, or you're trying to look for it. So that's another 30 seconds, 45 seconds gone. You load it up, you get that one set ready, and then that's another 30 seconds left, which gives you 1 minute to sit there. You know, with DVD, you don't have any time.
It took that long to load.
It took forever to load. You know, you're like one, on a, like the old CD players, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you go up to 7. With the DVJs, it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'd be like 1, 2, 3, and you're like, hurry up.
And that's assuming you haven't changed your mind to play a different track.
Exactly,
you're committed, aren't you?
Yeah. So there's no time for error. You know?
And then Virtual DJ brought it all out on a piece of software.
Well, precisely. This is what I mean. So nowadays, all right, any DJ out there can go and buy something like that, a DDJ 400 for 200 quid. They can go to their mate down the road who's got a whole bunch of videos on a hard drive, plug it into their laptop, and then do a video mix for a fraction of the cost from, say, 12, 13 years ago. Yeah.
No, definitely. I think the biggest cost now is probably purchasing the videos itself. That's probably the biggest cost, because TVs, you can pick up TVs in places like Argos, the lightweight ones, for £300-400 for 40-inch tellies. They're cheap now. You don't need, like you said, a set of 3,000s or 6,000s to go and do them gigs. It's easier to just pick up your controller in your bag, put your speakers and your lights in, off you go.
Well, that's it. That's what I did. I used that for the silent disco. DDJ 400 in the laptop bag, next to the laptop, set of headphones. Again, no PA. I took a couple of lights, took a laser. But I think the most expensive bit of kit I took with me that night was the fucking projector.
Yeah. Yeah. I since I've got my controller and I've got it all set up with record box now, I would not take my MP3 players out. It doesn't make sense. Like, I have 3 wires going into the controller. You got the power, the USB, and then you got your XLRs out, ain't you? That's it. You take that 2 separate decks and a mixer. You've got all the RCA leads. There's all sorts of shit you have, and there's just no need for that anymore. Well, and that's why
not if you're in a club environment, if you're a mobile environment. I'll put it this way, even in the club,
we're on about mobiles, though, aren't we?
People do not care what you play on, as long as the music's good or the video's good, and the program of the music, they couldn't get a rat's ass.
Exactly. They don't.
From our point of view, and I think
DJ snobbery now.
I think
snobbery.
Well, hang on. I think Brian S. Red made a point many years ago, and I don't know whether you made it as well, Jonathan, is that what we can't be seen to do is use equipment that they understand or they know of. For example, if we were doing it on a Windows Media Player playing music, they're going, hang on, I can do that at home. Yeah.
Yeah. Agree. Yeah. 100%.
So it has to look like, nowadays you get as well. Is that the internet? Why can't you get the track for me? Why can't you get it like that? You haven't got it. Why you can get it? Yeah. So it just has to look. The equipment has to look professional. The software has to look professional. That it looks like because we actually do. I mean, it helps, obviously, equipment set up to make our jobs easy as possible. But then we have to differentiate ourselves and somebody who's going to do a Spotify playlist or play a load of tracks at home, because the equipment and the software don't make the DJ. It's the reading the crowd. It's the music programming. Yeah, it's playing the right tracks, making the right announcement at the right time. It's the human element that makes the DJ, not the equipment, not the technology.
100% behind you there.
I mean, I said party for the 30th birthday somewhere out that way, Raynham, and that girl come up to me and said, can you play whatever track it was? She went, I'll just send it to you from my Spotify list, and you can play it on your Spotify. It's like, I don't use Spotify. I had my 6,000s out as well. I had like a full a full club setup, and they still think that you're using Spotify as your software.
Mm.
You know, because they just don't understand. I said to her, come round and have a look. And she just like, I don't know what I'm looking at. And that's what you want, isn't it? You want people to go, I don't know what to do with that.
Well, it's not difficult, but it just gives the right impression that it's not what they know. It's not household equipment. It's not a DVD player. It's not an MP3 player. Yeah, it's equipment that's designed to do the job. That sounds better. That basically gives the DJ, when applicable, to do tricks and on that kind of stuff. And I tell you one thing I love doing is just I think everybody did the other week as well, is catching the crowd unawares. Yeah. Yes. The human element that is sort of like the cha-cha slide you put on and just repeat it so they dig themselves to Australia. Yeah. I love doing it. Or Macarena, 170 BPM, off we go. Yeah. And Envy's got a track that he played on video. Do you want to explain the Rihanna one?
Yeah, so I said earlier about I played that house track, didn't I? And it went really well. And then I went with a groove. So I've got a track that's it starts off EDM-y, right? And then it drops into Whitney Houston. And then it drops into Rihanna. And to start with, when I first started mixing it in, right, and then I dropped it, people were like, what's this? It does sound not very good at the beginning. And then Whitney Houston dropped this one girl's gone, like, and you know, I just, at that point, you know, you've got them and you can do pretty much what you want with them. And then Rihanna dropped in, they went even more mental.
Nice.
And it was good because I had the video up as well. It just added to that effect, didn't it? Which I absolutely love. And yeah, if you can get them, you know, that sort of reaction from people where they're just not expecting that, that's when you know you've done your job right.
I mean, this is obviously something for us DJs, that when the night is going really, really well, and you do have a great room of dancers, and you can say, I could almost do anything here and it will work. That's the time we go, I want to risk something here. I'm going to do something a little bit different that I wouldn't normally do. I would take it from maybe it's high energy, but they're loving the sing along. So right, okay, I'll put Robbie Williams' Angels on or something that's an absolute belter. They won't dance to it, but they'll put their arms around each other and they'll sway and it'll just be come together. So, and you would not normally do that because you don't want to break the vibe, but thinking, I can do this and I can get away with this. And then you go, I think I got them where I need them tonight. I love to be in that. It doesn't happen very often. Right.
There was probably about 40, 50 people there maximum. You had the Anthony Joshua fight on in the other room. So most of the night, I'm playing to myself. And
well, we mostly do now when people go out for smoke as well, don't they? That's I remember doing a gig and I asked for 20 to 30 tracks and I got 150 for a 5-hour gig. I can't play them all. What am I going to leave out?
But you see, most people don't get that. What I try and explain to people is pure. This isn't some kind of science or genetic experiment. This is just pure mathematical logic. Unless you speed the fucking tracks up. But every radio track is around about 3.5 minutes, which means you can play roughly 20 tracks an hour. You do the math.
Exactly.
It's not rocket science, is it?
She went, I'm doing another gig for her. So it went down all right. I'm doing a gig for her daughter now. But that's the point. It's like, I can't play them. I said, but you asked for them. I said, no, 20, 30. It might be 15, 20. I can't remember exactly how many.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, she
is an idea, isn't it, of what they like.
No wonder it took
you need. Then you can build it yourself.
It did take her 3 weeks to come back to me. So bless her, she's working hard on it. You know what I mean? Mr. DJ Tutor, Jonathan Ellaskins, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting me.
We will have you back for a third time. Like, listen, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, whether you're listening or watching on YouTube, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you, gentlemen.